This apple orchard in South Australia is part of a cooperative company. It's owned by growers who work together to produce the apples. More than 50 orchards make up the company. Mark is a fourth-generation grower, which means apples have been in his family for about 100 years.
We have about 500 hectares of orchard, and our modern plantings are around about 3,000 trees per hectare. So that gives us well over 1 million apple trees.
And that many trees means Mark's got plenty of produce.
We do about 45 million apples. That can vary on the size of the fruit to the way the weather is at the time of harvest, but generally it's about that level.
Apple production has changed a lot over the years. Farmers did everything by hand. There was no irrigation or fertiliser like there is now, and they didn't have big nets to keep the birds away. So imagine how hard it would have been to keep all these trees healthy. Recently, the company spent millions on new technology that makes things a lot easier.
So we put probes in the ground that tells us that, the ground is too dry or the ground is too wet. We take soil samples, so we take samples of soil, send it off to the laboratory, and that tells us what sort of elements we have to put in to make our trees grow the best.
And new measuring devices have been set up to help the growers look after their crops.
We measure obviously the air temperature, humidity, leaf wetness, soil moisture. So it gives our growers the chance to work out when it's time to water their trees so we don't overwater. In terms of pests and disease, it also gives an indication of when we're going to see bacterial spores released within the orchard, so the growers know when to react and can forecast when to react with certain of spraying or watering systems and that sort of thing.
It sounds like a tricky process, but James says this technology is so advanced it all happens pretty quickly.
It's quite easy. It's like your mobile phone. All the weather stations have a SIM card in them, and the data is every hour pushed to our servers here at Lenswood, and that goes to another server system in Amsterdam.
That info is then sent back to the growers. All this is done once an hour. Talk about fast! But technology isn't a part of every process. The millions of apples harvested here each year still need to be picked by hand. After that, there are two options. Some are packed up and sent to market straight away, while others are brought here, the controlled atmosphere rooms. Basically, they're a room of nothing. There's only 3% oxygen, and the temperature is just above freezing. Humans couldn't survive in here, but apples can. These rooms are the reason we get nice fresh apples all year round, rather than just during harvest season. Next, the apples move to a different area, and they're put through this machine.
The first process, which is the big machine, is a pre-sizer. So all the fruit goes over the pre-sizer and it's sort of colour sorted, weight sorted and defect sorted into its appropriate grades.
The machine takes 8 pictures of the outside and inside of the apple to check for bruising and other hidden defects. Bad apples are sent off to be juiced or mowed back into the orchard, while the good ones are packed up, loaded into the trucks and delivered all over the country so that they come in a fresh and good condition to you.